Alrighty, guys, here we are at another episode of Journey to the Pit. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and bring in our special guest tonight, which will be Rick Hurst. Just give me 1 second. Let me add. Let me add a viewer rights. I'm going to add Rick on here. Give me 1 second and let me add our viewer tonight. We have a special guest, Rick Hurst. Alrighty. Alrighty, guys. Just we got Rick Hurst is being invited. He is on his way in. We're just waiting for Facebook to bring him in. But while we're waiting for him to come on, I'll go ahead and put the disclaimer out that I do it at the beginning of each one of these videos. All the information talked about in this video and discussed is for educational, historical, entertainment purposes only. None of this information is intended for any legal purposes. All information and opinions are respective of each individual. Let me just see what's taking Rick so long to come on in. He should be here in a second. Just give me a second. Let him come on in. It's been sent. We're just waiting for him to come on in. Guys, I'm glad to see y'all guys are already checking in. We already got 31 people. Welcome to the people who has never, to the new viewers who have never seen the Journey to the Pit show. And what it's all about is just talking about and bringing on a lot of, experienced cockers that can spread a lot of information, educational information out for a lot of guys that's coming up in the sport, beginners and veterans. So this is just another guest that we have on, which is Rick Hurst. A lot of y'all guys know him through purchasing medicine and stuff like that. Okay, looks like he's coming on in. Let's see here. So he's being added right now. But guys, like I said, this is Rick Hurst. I call him the medicine man. Hey, Rick, how you doing?
How you doing?
All right. Look like we just got a little delay, but we can kind of work with that. I just kind of started off while Facebook was waiting to bring you on in. Just put the disclaimer out there that all the information on this video that we're discussing is for educational, historical, entertainment purposes only. None of this information is intended for any illegal purposes. All information is respective of each individual. So it looks like we got a good little crowd already. We already got 45 viewers coming in. So guys, we had kind of got this interview event out a little in the middle of the week. I like to post our guests, Friday guests out on Monday. Rick's a busy guy. I'm a busy guy. We try to kind of catch up and test the Wi-Fi to make sure everything was good. We couldn't get that done until Wednesday, but we're here now. We already started off good. We got 54 viewers. What Rick is going to be talking about today is educating us on a lot of products that's on the market that's available for a lot of the common and even the rarest health issues that we deal with on a farm. Rick is a guy who's very capable of talking about that. So I thought he would be a great guest to come on. And Rick, I just want to appreciate you coming on tonight and giving us your time and sharing your knowledge with us tonight.
I thank you for the information. And how is everybody doing?
Everybody looks like they're doing good. It looks like we all excited. We got 65 viewers already. So Rick, what we can start off with, typically, the past guests that we have had on were just mainly breeders. Bring you on, you're going to be talking about the health and medicine aspect of it. So I guess we can kind of switch it up. What we can kind of start out with is first, how many products do you offer?
Roughly about 40 products are in stock all the time. All the products are made in the Philippines by the top companies. Most of all the products are made in pharmaceutical grade labs. Several of them are ISO certified labs, which is quality control measures and consistency of the product.
Okay.
So in an ISO,
which that's very, very important.
Yes, in an ISO certified product, every time you open a packet or every time you open the bottle, you can assure that the quality's there and the correct dosage is there, so that you know, you're not hitting and missing. You're hitting every time.
Right, right, because the quality of it is very consistent. So if you give them to them once and see the results, you know every time you give it to them, that's what you're going to be looking for, those same type of results, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So, Rick, let's start off with this. I guess the best way to start with the health is, let's start from the aid. Is there any particular information that you can give us, or a regimen, you know, that you would think the guys need to start with? You know, what is the beginning phase of a whole medical or health regimen?
We can start off with the incubator. I have a lot of questions from guys that they don't get a good hatch rate, or it takes 2 or 3 days to hatch. The fresher the egg in the incubator, the better off it is. 2-week-old eggs are going to hatch over a period of 2 days, or late, or week. And not going to get a lot in the incubation, but you know, if you got your humidity right, you got eggs that are 10 days or old or fresher, you'll have a good consistent hatch rate of all in 1 day.
Okay, all in 1 day. All right, great, great. So tell me, Rick, what is the first thing that you recommend the guys do when the hatch starts? You know, when the eggs start hatching.
When they hatch out, of course, I leave them in the hatcher overnight, and the next day I introduce them to the brooder, and the first thing they get is LS50, and it comes in a tub like this. I'm completely sold out of it, but this is the type of tub you would get, a 220 gram.
All right, turn it around, Rick, so we can see the label of
it. This product here is Spiritin, because I'm completely sold out of LS50. But LS50, they get it for the first 6 days of their life. And you need to change the water every 2 days. So
all right. So Rick, why do they get it for 6 days?
It gets in their system, it solidifies their lungs, it clears their lungs out, and also it gets their guts settled and everything, where they can start absorbing their food real good and all. And the egg yolk will be completely used and everything. And the LS50, the lincomycin, spectomycin, gets the lungs solidified and gets their guts lined out, where they can start growing and absorbing their food and the minerals and the vitamins.
Okay, I got you. And Rick, does that come in a powder form, liquid form? What form does it come in?
All my stuff is powder. You can't get liquids shipped through the carrier. The carrier won't take liquids because of a bomb scare and things like this.
Got you.
But it's all powder form.
Is all powder form. Okay, so we in the 6 days. They're out the hatcher. They're in the brooder right now. They done did 6 days on the LS50. What's the recommended next step from there?
You can use Vitamin Pro in their water for a day or 2. It's got all your vitamins and minerals. It's got your electrolytes, your amino acids, and the most important thing is your probiotics. If you don't have probiotics in your vitamin, there's no use of giving it, you know, because most of your vitamins is already in your feed. You might get an extra boost by using vitamins, but you're not doing anything for overall health unless you have your probiotics. Probiotics.
And Rick, I was about to my next question was just explain what the probiotics does.
Probiotics puts the good gut flora and the good bacteria in the guts of the chickens. They get more out of their feed. They absorb more vitamins and minerals, and it's not passing through in their waste. You're not wasting any money because they're getting it all.
Getting it all. Okay. And Rick, tell me something. Say if they do get a little extra vitamin, does a chicken usually pass that?
They absorb what they need. Like B12, they only absorb a certain amount in one day, and the rest is passed out through the droppings.
Okay, all right. And I asked that question because I see a lot of times guys like, you know, I'm afraid of giving my bird too many vitamins or too much vitamins. And I hear some guys say, don't worry about it because they're going to just take what they need and pass the rest. Is that correct? You agree with that?
In my opinion, yes. Some of the iron extract, like black vitamins or B12 5500 with the iron dextrose or iron extract in it, you can overload them with that. But just your basic vitamins, they'll absorb what they need and they'll pass the rest out in the droppings.
Okay, I got you. All right, so I can stay on track. So we 6 days out the brooder. I mean, we out the hatch. We in the brooder for 6 days. They get LS50. After that, you want to give them the next phase, which is the vitamins you just put up. And you said about 1 or 2 days of that?
Yes.
Okay.
On day 9 and 10, this is the most important thing you can do for your biddy other than feed, water, and worming is Coxybuster. It's Tolterazuril. It's brand name Baycox. It's been out about 15 to 18 years. This is my version of it because it's powder form. It dissolves very good in water. There's no sediment. You don't have to shake it up. It's colored and I believe it's flavored because they drink it real well. Some of the other Baycox settles to the bottom. You have to shake it up. It's aggravating. Some of your oil-based Baycox, brand name and generic, they shy away from it. They won't drink it as much. And this here is my favorite, and I've used it all. I've used brand name Baycox, the oral, the oil, and this powder. They really like it, and they really drink it. I use it on day 9 and 10.
9 and 10. And Rick, what is the purpose of using that on 9 and 10?
Your coccidiosis disease starts forming in their guts right along about that time. 10 days. 7 to 10 days is a magic number on bacterial infections and coccidiosis infections and things like this. It's about a 10-day window.
About a 10-day window. Okay, I got you. Okay, so Rick, tell me, now we at the 10-day. We done gave them. Now, is that something that we repeat later on, or is that right there the start of what we need, that initial dose?
Day 16 and 17, and day 23 and 24.
Okay, so we'll repeat that on those days, right?
That's correct. It's a two-day thing, and it replaces Corid. Corid or Amperlin is a thing of the past. There are several strains of
It is, huh?
In my opinion, it's a thing of the past. It's a waste of money. You could buy better stuff with a good box of worm pills, or buy the Tolterazuril or Baycox and just save you money. Corid's a thing of the past. There's 2 strains of coccidiosis that is Corid is not getting and it's immune to.
Okay, that's very, very important information because Corid is still, I see that recommended a lot. Obviously on Facebook, I see that's recommended a lot. I see a lot of talk about that in different groups and stuff like that. And you said that, what is the reason why that is not as effective as it used to be?
There's 2 strains of coccidiosis that is resistant to it. It don't touch it. One thing about Corid, it's a coccidiostat. They just pass the amoeba out into the droppings, and they pick it right back up. They just shed this disease out, and then they turn around and pick it right back up. Coxybuster kills it, and It doesn't come back.
So the cord was
you
basically just flushing it out their system.
That's correct.
So basically the cord was just flushing it out their system, and then they sit there and eat it right back up. Now it's right back into the system.
That's correct.
All right. Okay. I got you on that. That makes a lot of sense. And I don't think a lot of guys knew that, because again, they're probably wondering, or maybe thinking they have something else. If they gave them the cord and it hasn't fixed the issue, they're probably thinking they got something else. But in all actuality, they didn't get anything else. They got the same identical thing, because it's basically like they regurgitated and just ate it back up, correct?
That's correct. And cord does nothing for respiratory. Right. It does nothing for diarrhea or anything. It is a coccidiostat only, and people use it for respiratory, and they think it's a cure-all, and it's just a thing of the past. It's gone. It's over with. I don't even buy it. I don't even buy it no more.
Got you. That is a very, very interesting point. Because like I say, I hear a lot of guys talking about that same thing, that same thing. But it's great that you explain why it's not as effective as it used to be, because it's just making it pass, and then they eating it back up. And then also the strains that they have out now is resistant to that, correct?
That's correct. Cord is your old granddaddy stick shift. Coccibuster is your automatic.
That's what it is. That's taking it to a whole nother level, huh?
Yes.
So that eliminates it. Okay, so we at day 23 and 24, right?
Yes. And you just want to run some Vitamin Pro to get them over the Coccibuster after that. And then we're going to go on to worming. Worming the chick on day 30.
Day 30.
With BNO Plus, you can worm them as early as 20 days. But like you say, that's right in the middle of the coccidiosin regimen. So I just wait the 30 days on that. And it's a 2-day thing for worming. And what the BNO Plus is, it's albendazole, which is valbazin, and prohibit mix. But to a medium-sized farm that raises about 100 stags like I do, and your stock solution of the prohibit, mixing it up, you got to mix the whole pack and this and that, and you're throwing this away and throwing that away, and you're taking a lot of gas on a baby chick. This is 1 pack to 1 gallon for 2 days. Real simple.
Wow. So that is...
It's real simple, and it dissolves in the water, and it stays dissolved in the water. It doesn't settle like the valbazin settles in the bottom. It's just a real safe and measured wormer. Takes all the guesswork out of it. You don't have to ask nobody or call anybody how to use it. 1 pack to 1 gallon, 2 days, and you're done. And I do that
2 days and you're done.
And I do that on day 30 and 31.
30 and 31. So tell me this, Rick. So what worms is that worm addressing?
Roundworms, cecal worms. It gets some of the hookworms. Tapeworms. It gets some of the tapeworms, threadworms. You know, your major ones that's going to pull a chick down.
Okay. So, and do we have to repeat that process? So we had day 30, we give them that 2-day regimen. Like you say, it's 1 pack to 1 gallon. No worries about how much to give them and all that. It's just 1 pack to 1 gallon, and that's the end of it.
That's correct. And
you do that for 2 days, right?
Right. Then I come back on, in 30 days again on day 60, and I use hammer chick wormer. It's the same makeup as the tablet version, and a lot of people used a hammer, but I bet they didn't know there was a hammer chick. This kills all your tapeworms. Your tapeworm pulls a chick or a rooster down more than any other worm. It takes in more blood than a roundworm. Your tapeworm is what you need to kill. And
Gotcha.
a lot of people use Ivomec and mix it in their water, you know, like a sheep drench, and they mix it up for the chicks.
Right.
They're only killing roundworms.
Right.
Ivomec only kills roundworms. It doesn't kill tapes and flukes and some of your internal worms and things. Again, Ivomec only kills roundworms. If you're going to spend the money, get them all.
Wow.
Don't get one, get them all.
Get them all. That's right. You got that right. If you're going to spend the money, get them all. Get them all.
And I want to bring up a lot
a
lot of people still using Wazine. Wazine only kills the roundworms like Ivomec or Ivermectina or however you want to pronounce it. Wazine is like cord. It's a thing of the past. It's gone. It's over the hill. It's ineffective. It's worthless.
Wow. Well, I tell you one thing, Rick, you dropping some knowledge on it, because I can tell you right now, if anybody's gaining information from Facebook, it seems like you're debunking a lot of that information that's being spread across and given out as advice on Facebook, which a lot of new guys are coming to Facebook looking for advice, which I think is a good thing. But then it just kind of shows too, all information is not good information.
Well, just because granddaddy done it or your neighbor done it and told you how to do it doesn't mean that it's the best way or the most current way. It may have been good 10 years ago, and it may have worked 10 years ago, but you got to catch up with times. We couldn't have done this on a phone back in 1990. We couldn't be having this.
Actually, not even that. We could have done this on the phone in 2017.
This is correct. So you got to update, you see.
That's right.
Corid, Wazine, Ivomec, which I've never liked because it's so hard on the liver. And Thailand 50, just forget about it. You know, don't even invest in it, because it may knock down something simple, but if you really get a bad bacterial infection or infestation, you know, you want to have something good, because you put a lot of feed and money into that rooster or that egg to hatch and for chicks and everything. And
that's right.
The next thing I do is I come back with a prevention med called Spiramycin.
Okay.
It's called Spiritin on the label.
Okay.
And out of all the medications, they did about 4 different medications. They did Tylanicin. They did oxytetracycline. They did Spiramycin and several other, you know, common medicines. And after 90 days, this had a 96% no return rate of any type of symptoms.
Wow.
Because once you have CRD, and everybody has CRD, if somebody says they don't have CRD in their game farm, they're kidding themselves and lying to somebody else. Everybody has CRD. CRD, when that hen lays the egg and it hits the nest, before it's ever hatched, it's infected with CRD. And coryza and other bacterial infections. So you have to prevent it. And this is a real good prevention medication with the highest percentage of no return of symptoms after 90 days.
After 90 days.
That's correct.
So tell me this, Rick, how do you administer that over the night? Oh, so you're basically saying once you administer it, give them the regimen, they can check 90 days later and they'll still have a 96% chance that it will be not there.
That's correct.
After that 90 days.
That's correct.
Okay.
And
so how do you administer that right there?
I do it 4 days at a time, at day 40 through day 44.
Okay.
And then I come
4 days. Okay.
Then I come back with day 65 and 69.
Wow. Okay. So we got
and before you put them on the ground, or if you get 2 or 3 days of rain like we've had, or a week of rain or 2 weeks of rain, just anytime you think they're not feeling good, run the Spiritin through them, you know, for 4 days is kind of a prevention, you know, and it peps them up. And something about when you give antibiotics, especially erythromycin, it jump starts their growing. They'll outgrow other chicks that hadn't had antibiotics, and they'll be healthier and nicer muscle and stronger bones quicker than non-medicated chicks. It synthesizes or does something in their body.
Right. Okay, so that's something during rainy season when there's a lot of mud out there and all that kind of stuff. That's probably the best thing to do for them, huh?
Yes.
Okay, so we at 65 days now, right?
Yes, and I just worm them every month.
Every month from there?
Yes, I worm them every month.
And okay, so take us, do you rotate your wormer? Use the same type of wormer? What's
rotation of wormers, whether it's chicks or adults, is best.
Okay, so rotation. And what do you recommend on a rotation?
In the chicks, I only have 2 products.
Okay.
The Basterno and the Hammer Chick.
And those are pretty much to do the job.
Yes, rotation of those 2 will do the job, because you're getting hookworms, and you're not getting resistant because you're rotating it out with Basterno.
Okay, so are we rotating during say month to month, or do we run a couple months on one and then switch it up and run a couple months on the other, or are we doing month to month, switching it month to month?
Every other month.
Every other month. Okay, so we run 2 months on one and then 2 months on the other, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. So we got our worming regimen. Those 2 right there pretty much do what we need. So as we go on past that time, what are some of the common things that you see guys encountering, or what's the regimen after that?
A lot of people have problems with their chicks. It's commonly referred to as pasty butt.
Okay.
There'll be white droppings stuck to their feathers and everything, and it irritates them and makes them raw and everything. And
right.
People think that's a disease, and it's not. That is from too high of a heat or too low of a heat. And they just pass their food out, and it's white, and it sticks to them. And a lot of chicks you order through the mail, they already come with that condition. You got to peel it off and apply Vaseline or something. But pasty butt is commonly mistaken for a disease, and it's nothing but a temperature problem, either too hot or too cold.
Wow, I definitely learned something there, because I had some that had pasty butt, and I swear out it was a disease. I thought they were sick.
It's a temperature problem. Most of the time with people with brooders, it's too hot.
Yep. And I can tell you right now, mine were probably definitely too hot. If I had to bet in Puerto Rico, inside that incubator with that thing, it was definitely too hot. Wow.
What it is, the crop ferments their food. We have acids that break it down. Fermentation breaks it down in the craw. And when they get too hot, feed in the craw is heat. You know, like your grains of corn and stuff produces heat and keeps their body heat up. So when they get overheated, they don't ferment their feed right, and they expel it out quick to get it out of the body quick to bring their body temperature down. And that's what causes the scalding of their butthole and their back part of them, and the white droppings.
Right.
And if it's too cold, they don't get the fermentation doesn't get right, and they don't digest their food right, and it comes out and it sticks too. So it's pasty butt is a common condition that a lot of people have, and it's a temperature condition.
Is it temperature?
about 84 to 85 degrees is good for a newborn chicken. You have to step it back from there. And I don't remember all of the temperature and the specific temperatures, but that's something you would just look up for each age, you know, to go with the temperature of what they should be.
Right. Okay, so now where we at now? We're almost going on 3 months, right? We're about almost 70 days out.
Yes, and anytime after you give any type of preventative antibiotic, you worm or give Coccibuster, when you get through with that, keep them on Vitamin Pro and fresh water. And you're getting those probiotics, and you're doing a lot of good with the Vitamin Pro.
Got you. And I see some comments. I mean, I know some of y'all guys might have came in a little late, but if y'all guys just relook at the video, I think Rick has covered some of those things that they're asking in a comment. I see one raising chick from day 1 to 1 month. Adrian, yeah, Rick has answered that already. So yeah, so like I said, just, you know, the guys that have came in a little late, Rick has already went through some things already. We're gonna keep on moving because he got a lot of other products that we want to talk about. So we really don't want to have to kind of backtrack. I think he went pretty much in good detail from the egg, and we're up to what, 70 days now?
Yes, and after that they're running free range, and you're soaking oats or you're soaking dog food with the Vitamin Pro. And another way to administer the worming, Mr. John does it a lot in some of his videos. Okay. And you soak it in dog food. That's a real good way to get them to eat it and administer the worming for the chicks and any medication, because you can mix this like the BNO Plus. You mix up 1 pack to 1 gallon, soak your dog feed in it, and feed it to them, and they wormed, you know. And you don't have to worry about them only drinking out of that wormer. They could be drinking somewhere else, another water supply. You know, you're getting it when you're feeding it. When you feed it to them, and you let it drink it in a fountain or a bowl, and you're feeding it to them, they drinking it and eating it, and that's the best way to come at it as a two-way approach. You know, if they eat and drink
two-way approach,
they get the medication from one way or the other.
Right. So Rick, so now they, like you said, they're free ranging. That's kind of the next phase in their life. We're pretty much maintaining it with just like a good vitamin. And what I mean by the vitamins, is this something that we're doing on a couple days a week, 2 days a week, 1 day a week? What do you recommend on that?
About 1 day, 1 to 2 days a week is good on that. You know, if they don't drink the vitamin water and it's in the shade or, you know, under a shelter or something, and there's some left over, you can give it to them 2 days, you know. But I don't like it every day. But, you know, 1 day a week and let them drink it up, so you're not wasting anything is good.
Right. Okay, so now they're out, they're running, they're ranging now, and you know, and obviously when they're ranging, that's when it comes a whole new set of issues, well, possible issues, you know, because they're out there now picking in stuff, getting in stuff, and all that kind of stuff. What are you? Is there any type of those wormers that you talked about is for internal and external parasites?
No, unfortunately. You know, you would have to get something like Zydectin or Ivomec sheep drench to mix up in the wormer to get the external parasites. And I would recommend Zydectin sheep drench. And you mix it up in the water for 1 time to get those external parasites on the chicks. Or an Ivomec based product will get that also. But
it also get it.
I really don't care for Ivomec at all. It's too hard on the liver.
Okay. So now that they out here free ranging, this is one of the things I see a lot in Puerto Rico, which they call moquillos, is the mucus from the mucus from the nose, swelling around the eyes, and the mucus from when they press on it, they can have that mucus come out the nose. What do you do for that?
That's most of the time, if you can smell it, but just by holding them, or you can go into your little building or something and you can smell it. It has a foul odor. That's usually coryza. And Spirimycin, we'll get it, but it's more of a CRD product. But I have one here that is doxycycline and thiamulin furamate. And thiamulin furamate is generic for Denogard. And a lot of people love Denogard. And they have to buy Penchlor and all this type of stuff to mix with it. And this already has the doxycycline, which is far more advanced than Penchlor or your basic oxytetracycline. So it's already mixed. And you have your vitamins and minerals, and it's already mixed all in one tub.
And that's usually what you do for when they got that mucus coming out of their nostrils like that, right?
Yes, or rattling in their lungs or throat rattling. It's good for foul carrier, which is one side of the face swelled up and then they having green or white or yellow droppings. And you have several different conditions that this here will get.
So Rick, my next question is, how about the bubbling of the eyes? When you see those bubbles coming out the corner of their eyes, what is that?
That's CRD, or there is a viral condition that causes that too. And I get a lot of people that call me back and said, this medicine didn't work as good as I thought it was, and this didn't work, and I tried this and I tried that, and they've tried 2 or 3 different medications. That is a viral condition. And viral problems can't be prevented or solved or treated by antibiotics. Antibiotics does viral conditions no good. So if it's not bacterial like coryza or CRD or foul carrier or there's another one that's kind of left my mind right now. But anyway, if it's a bacterial condition, infection, the antibiotics are good. But if it's a viral problem, antibiotics are no good. And I can't stress that enough, because they try 2 or 3 different type of medications and then they say nothing's working. Well, it's viral and there's nothing you can do but time. And a lot of times during that time they die too.
That's exactly right. Yeah, the first time I seen it, the guy was like, he's like, you can't get rid of that. He's like, you might as well just cull them because you ain't gonna get rid of it. He said, you might, let time go by, it'll go away. Then he said, you put them under a little stress or something like that, then it'll come back again. He said, as long as that bird is living, it seemed like, from his experience, he's like, he did the same thing, tried 3, 4, 5 different things, nothing worked, and just realized that this got to be something else because it's not going away, So with a situation like that, I mean, really nothing you can do. I mean, if you're going to probably have to call them, huh?
If they don't respond to antibiotics and you just have 3 or 4 with this problem, it'd probably be best just to cull those. But, if you have a large farm with 150 to 250 to maybe 300 or 500 corded birds and you have widespread problem, you better get to a lab and find out exactly what you're dealing with so you can, if you're not reacting to antibiotics, because some new conditions now that's coming from wild turkeys and is only responding to tilmacocin. And
tilmacocin.
Yes, it's another type of antibiotic, and this is real bad in West Texas and out that away in the desert. This problem's come from wild turkeys, and You just have to get with your lab, or there's a private lab out in California that will do the testing, and you won't get your state involved, you know. So
right.
if you keep having a reoccurring problem, you need to get them to a lab or find out what's going on, you know.
Right. And Rick, tell me something. I'm glad you brought that up about what they're contracting from these wild turkeys. Is it any particular symptoms guys can look for? I know you said it's kind of like out in West Texas, but just for information purposes only, is any particular symptoms that guys is seeing that has been experiencing or had that experience with this wild turkey situation?
The biddies, the chicks get about big as a quail and they just start dying. And it's a respiratory problem, but not a lot of antibiotics respond to it other than tilmacocin.
Tilmacocin. Okay, Rick, is that a product that you sell also?
I can get it. I don't keep it in stock, but I'm gonna.
It's not that common, right?
Because unless you deal with a lab, you know, you wouldn't know that, and you wouldn't know to treat with it, you know.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. So Rick, so tell me now, you know, they out there, they stags now. What are some of the most common type of issues, health issues that you see guys going through, or you get the most questions about?
Fowl pox. And that's one of these viral problems. They scab up. They look like they've been bit by mosquitoes or something on their face, and that's just a common, very, very common fowl pox. And you can vaccinate for it, but if I send them from Georgia to California, or you send them from Texas to Mexico, they're gonna come down with fowl pox anyway. So I don't even vaccinate for it, but a lot of people do, and if you have good luck with it, do it. But fowl pox is a viral condition. It goes away on its own in 7 to 10 days, just like kennel cough in a dog. You can give it shots, powders, pills, and you're not doing nothing. Some people say put shoe polish on it and it dries it up. It runs its course in a week to 10 days. And really,
so it doesn't even matter.
It doesn't even matter what you do. But one product that I don't carry because it's liquid that you can get over the counter is Genetian Violet. It's a purple spray, and I know you've seen it before on wounds that people spray with horses or cows. It's purple, bright purple.
That's right.
Genetian Violet is the best thing for pox. And you just keep a close eye on them. If they get a secondary infection, then you can treat with antibiotics in. But fowl pox is something that's not treatable by antibiotics. It just runs its course in due time.
And does it spread, Rick?
Yes, 1 year when I was about 16, I fed a bunch of watermelons and one had the pox, and I had every one of them with the pox. I had about 100 after that, so I don't feed melons anymore or anything. But
and I asked that question because somebody down in the comment had asked that question, which is a very good question. Does it spread? So in a situation like that, when you have 1 or 2 out there with it, you better quarantine them, huh?
Quarantine them or get rid of them if it's just 1 or 2, because flies, mosquitoes, and gnats spread it. Gnats is the worst because they get in the eyes.
Okay. So now we're talking about eyes, Rick. I know. How about the eye worms?
Don't really have a lot of problem with it on the mainland. Some in South Miami, down there in the heat and everything, south of the Everglades around Homestead stuff. Sometimes eye worms pop up. The Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Hawaii, and Guam have a lot of problem with the eye worms. This is drops for the eyes, and it's called Oxyrid. And when you put this drop in there, the worm just crawls out and hits the ground. You can watch it crawl out and fall and hit the ground.
Wow.
And
so Rick, with that right there, what's the regimen with that medicine?
You just put 5 drops in his eyes, and the worms come out on their own and fall to the ground. But one telltale sign of it is runny eyes, not bubbly eye, but just like tears run out of their face, and they constantly got their head under the wing, rubbing their eyes on the inside of the wing, like scratching it. That's a telltale, right. And watery eyes all the time is a telltale sign of eye worms.
So you don't actually physically have to see them. Just those symptoms alone, most likely, is probably what it is.
With his head under his wing all the time and rubbing his head on a limb or something or a post, you know, and watery eyes, it's usually eye worms.
Okay. So, Rick, let's talk about what you and I had talked about earlier, is about the Mercs, how guys get that kind of confused, thinking the bird has one thing and it actually doesn't. You know, go into detail or tell us about that. We talked about it earlier.
Beside fowl pox, with shoe polish and this type stuff, and treating it with antibiotics, another biggest thing that I run into questions with people is Merrick's disease, or referred to as range paralysis. That's a disease and inflammation of the brain. It attacks their central nervous system, and it's a real bad disease. A lot of people do vaccinate for it. I had a hatch family that run heavy with Merrick's disease. No other family of chicken I had at that time but that hatch family was Merrick's disease, so I just got rid of that family. But
right.
There is a form of CRD that's called MS strain. There's MG, which is mainly in their lungs. Their heads turn blue. Then there's MS strain, which affects their joints and their mobility. And what happens, their joints swell up kind of like gout, or and they feel arthritis. The chicken feels arthritis, and he'll walk around and fall over or squat down. He'll get up, walk a few more steps, and sit down and squat down. But his body is hydrated. He's got a lot of flesh on him. He feels real good. He's bright-eyed. He's red-headed.
Right.
He eats good, but he's not starving to death. You know, it's MS. It's not Merrick's. So every time you see one limping or having problems, it's MS form of CRD, not Merrick's. And another thing with the Merrick's disease, it affects the eyes also. They'll turn blue and go blind with Merrick's disease. And most of the time, I say about 75% of the time with Merrick's disease, they lose their legs and go blind as well. So
go ahead, Rick. I'm sorry.
One of the ways you can distinguish between Merrick's and MS is MS, their body feels good, they're heavy, they're not dehydrated, they eat normal. Merrick's, they could be blind in one eye, they lose their legs forever, it never comes back, they never walk again, they never take a step, they just fall around and flip around, you know, and they lose their body and their breasts. And they feel dehydrated all the time, and that's Merrick's disease, and there's nothing you can do for it, but
nothing you can do for it
other than vaccination.
Okay. So if he gets it, that's a done deal. Just go ahead and cull it. Don't even worry about spending any money on that because you can't fix that at all.
No, sir.
So Rick, how about the MS? What can we do about that?
I would go back to this Thiamulin Denagard generic with the doxycycline in it. See, most of these powders I have combinations of antibiotics in them, 2 and 3 different antibiotics and stuff. And most of the products sold are only one antibiotic, you know. So like with the doxycycline, you're getting the guts, you're getting some disease of the guts, and you're getting respiratory disease all in one tub. You know, you don't have to mix, match, and guess. You just give it this, you see.
Right.
And a lot of antibiotics, like in Roxil, which is Bactrim, which is is another thing like Wazine and Cord. It's a thing of the past. Combinations of antibiotics is what's getting it anymore. And say if you've done all these prevention medications,
right,
and you've done everything you can do, and your chicks get sick and they get rattly in the lungs real bad.
Right, right.
This product, Vetricin Ultima, right here, is what you would do. It helps on the MS too. It's a powder version for the water. And when the chicks get sick, I really like this, because this product here has something that no other product has, that anybody come out with, has prednisone in it, which is a steroid, anti-inflammatory steroid that humans use. Prednisone, it repairs their lungs after it gets infected, you know.
Wow.
Prevents a lot of the scarring and scar tissue in the lungs. This particular product has doxycycline, tylanicin, paramectol, which is Tylenol in it, acetaminophen for fever, because a lot of chicks don't die from the disease, they die from a too hot or the fever. It has bromhexine in it, which is a mucus snot. It gets that out of them, similar to Mucinex. And it has prednisone, which is a steroid for lung repair. So you got two antibiotics, you got a fever reducer, you got Mucinex plus steroids for the lungs, all in one product.
Wow. So Rick, tell me this: what type of regimen would you run them on with that right there?
I only use this if they're sick and they was rattling and stuff, you know. And you can substitute this in for like spiramycin, you know, if you don't want to carry 3 or 4 different. But I keep the Denagard and doxycycline, Thiamulin, furamate. I keep that as a powder. I keep the spiramycin and this Ultima right here. I keep those 3, and
those are most common things that'll knock out a lot of elements just with those 2 products.
Yes, and see, other products you would have to buy 2 different bottles and mix up 2 different stuff together. Then you would have to know what antibiotics go with this antibiotic and what don't go with that, and it's already here.
That's right.
You just tear open the package and put it in the water. It's simple, no guesswork.
That's right. So Rick, tell me this. I see Brent Eastland asked about the green injectables. What are you talking about?
This is the green label injectable. It's called Pneumosure. It's for pneumonia in people or animals or anything. It's cephalexin, which is K-Flex in human medicine. Ciprofloxacin, which is Cipro 500 in human medicine. I know you've had Cipro 500 before. I've had it. When you get out of the hospital with pneumonia, Cipro 500 is usually what they give you. Especially old people, they give the ciprofloxacin. And the dexamethasone is an anti-inflammatory steroid that takes all the mucus and the water off the lungs and gets it out of them. So 3/4 of a cc, and 3 days later, 3/4 of a cc of this, and you're pretty good shape. And cephalexin, ciprofloxacin, and dexamethasone all in one. It's hard to compare with this here.
So Rick, tell us all of the elements or health situations you would deal with that you would administer that right there.
In the Philippines, after a long show in the Philippines, and you know how it goes in a show, especially in the Philippines, after they clean them up and wash them up, this here is a very good product for after the show.
Okay.
Gets rid of all infections. Or if a little dog comes through your place and bites a couple of roosters, you know, and don't kill them, but they got puncture wounds from dogs getting in your fowl. This green label gets those infections out of them, or a pen fight, you know, or stuff like that. But for CRD and most of your respiratory problems, this right here will knock it out. And
that will right there, huh?
This is a general purpose all-in-one injectable that everybody should have, because in the Philippines, they do it for after the show care when they bring them home and they're taking care of their champions. And then also it goes good for a lot of respiratory problems. And when you inject it, you know he got it. You don't have to guess if he got it.
Right.
That's one injectable that I carry.
That's one injectable. Okay, you said a third of a cc one day, and then on day 3, a third of a cc. You should be good to go.
3/4.
Oh, 3/4. Okay.
And
3/4. Okay, 3/4 of a cc.
And on a big rooster above 5.5 pounds, I do 1 cc.
Okay.
And
all right. So what do you have in your house? I thought you grabbed something. You was about to go over something next.
You was asking about earlier about the yellow mucus and swollen head and watery eyes and the cheese in the roof of their mouth. That's coryza. This here is a real good coryza medication, and it works real good for throat rattles, not lung rattles, but throat rattles or squeaky crow. The green label, the only thing that I haven't had real good success on it with is throat rattling. And I don't know what medical condition that is, but it gets 90% of the stuff. But
it does.
If you have a lot of problems with coryza in your fowl, swollen heads big as your fist, and cheese, one side of the head swole shut, you know, you usually lose that eye in that fowl. If you don't treat it. This right here is the best I know of. It's fluorphenicol, 10%. It's got tylanicin in it and dexamethasone, which is an anti-inflammatory steroid. This is a real good coryza injection. A half a cc, 3 days later another half, and then 3 days later another half, because a lot of that cheese up in the roof of that mouth is really deep in their sinuses, and it takes 3 treatments of this to get it. But
because some of that stuff is deep up in there. You got that right.
And coryza, that injectable, I call it the white label, but it's fluorphenicol, tylanicin, and dexamethasone in it.
Right. So Rick, I know you have a few other products there that we didn't talk about exact symptoms that to cure, but you have any other items, any more products that you would like to talk about?
I really like this here. Bactrim is weak at best anymore. I don't care for Enroxil at all. Bactrim is getting about like Thailand. It's just getting weak. Just don't care for it. Just don't like it. There's something better. You shifting gears with a stick shift if you're using Bactrim anymore. This here is automatic.
And that is used for
CRD, coryza, respiratory issues. Bactrim is a first-generation quinolone. This is a third-generation quinolone drug. It gets what's resistant to Bactrim. Same family, like a Smith or a Johnson. It's same family of drugs as a Bactrim, but new and improved. And
new and improved,
Levofloxacin or Levomax tablets start to work within 3 hours.
Wow. And Rick, that's also a powder?
Tablet and powder.
Okay, okay.
The tablets, older gentleman out in Oklahoma put on the internet about a cure for CRD and all this. He was using Bactrim for dogs. This is a new and improved form of what he was talking about. Why I don't believe there is a 100% cure for CRD. This knocked the symptoms back on it a whole lot and keep a lot of times from it from reoccurring. But like I said, Bactrim is a first generation quinolone, and this is a third generation quinolone. And it's just new and improved, faster acting, longer lasting.
Got you. Okay, what else you got there, Rick?
It's also in powder form.
All right. So in powder form, what is it? Is it the same thing, 1 packet per gallon of water, or?
This particular one is one pack for treatment to 1.5 gallons of water.
Okay. And Rick, how long do they run that?
I'll go at least 6 days on it. At least 6 days.
Okay, 6 days.
Yes.
Okay.
Most of the Philippine products are in English, and they got prevention and treatment directions on the label, which makes it real easy. Takes all the guesswork out of it. Eliminates a lot of phone calls,
right.
You know.
Right.
The Vitamin Pro, I really like this.
Okay.
In the chicks and your adult fowl. Vitamins, minerals, electrolytes, amino acids, and probiotics all in one. No mixing.
All in one.
No buying extra products. It's all in one.
It's all in one. And that's what you said you'll give about 1 or 2 days a week, correct?
That's correct. They have it in tablet form, and I use this in my keep.
Okay, that right there. Now, do you use that 1 or 2 days a week, or is it the same 1 day a week or 2 days a week?
I use a half a tablet for a day for 2 weeks on it.
Oh, a half a tablet a day for 2 weeks, huh?
Yes, and during the keep.
Okay. All right. So what else you got there, Rick? This has been some extremely good information. I do want to just make mention in a comment that no, Facebook doesn't allow me to make Rick big and me small, which I would definitely like to do that. But obviously with this live stream, Facebook, you know, it only gives this option right here to do it. But I am looking at some software that would allow me to make the guests big and I'm small, because you know, the interview is not about me, it's all about the guests, but we just work with what we have. I'm sorry, Rick, you can go ahead.
This is another common product that a lot of people like, ambroxetil. Before I started with this endeavor and selling products, there was 4 or 5 Philippine products that was real popular in this country, and this was one of them. Ambroxetil.
Okay.
Has a large following of people, and a lot of people like it. And
okay,
it's a good product, but I like the Ultima and the Thiamulin better because of the different drug combinations. But people like and swear by this, and it's amoxicillin and tylanicin with mucinex in it. It's a good product.
So tell me this, Rick, what would they be using that for?
Respiratory. It helps with the greens too, and coryza, runny nose, snot. You know.
Okay.
And it gets some intestinal problems, but not all of them. And it is also in a generic version that is cheaper, that a lot of people don't know about. It's called Derbidox. It's just generic version.
Okay.
But it's cheaper. than ambroxetil, because Excellence is the maker of ambroxetil, and
Okay.
they're the Nike of the Philippines, is the Excellence game valve company. But this is made by another company, and that's a generic version.
Okay.
And the big tubs of the same thing. So if you got a big farm, I got the big tubs. I got the medium-sized tubs for people like myself that raise about 100 stags. And then I got the packets, you know, for people that want to raise about 50 stags. So I can accommodate large farms, medium and small.
And small.
That's what I try to do is help everybody.
Right. So Rick, just one last thing before we close out. Obviously, you said you get a lot of phone calls. So the best way for these people to contact you, was that another product you wanted to show, Rick? Or you just moving that around?
I want to go over these wormers because this is the most important.
Okay, let's go ahead. Yes.
This is my favorite wormer. It's Vermex 4.
Okay.
It's levamisole, albendazole, praziquantel, and niclosamide all in one. It has 4 different combinations of wormers all in one. And praziquantel gets you tapeworms. Very, very good wormer. Why just worm with one wormer when you got 4 combinations of wormers that's getting round tapes, flukes,
everything,
lungworms, everything.
Right. Everything.
I have an Astig. This is a favorite of a lot of people. Praziquantel and levamisole.
Okay.
I got one of my second best favorite, which is Hammer.
Okay.
I rotate between Vermex and Hammer every month.
Okay. So those are 2 that you rotate through.
Yes, sir. And people use Lye, Safeguard, Ivomec. You don't have to prop your fowl up if you worm with Vermex and Hammer and rotate back and forth every month. You would not believe the strength and endurance just worming fowl it would add to.
Right.
Versus using other products and single wormers like Ivomec. Or Safeguard.
Right.
Safeguard is only effective if you use it 4 days in a row. I don't have time to go over every chicken for 4 days, so I just give them 1 pill and done with it. You know, easy.
Right. So Rick, when you give them that, they done for the month, right?
The whole month. The whole month.
The whole month. Okay, so 1 dose and they good for the whole month. Okay.
And this is a Hammer product that's got the praziquantel in it. And that ingredient, if you don't have it in your worming program, you're not getting all the worms. I don't care who says it. Because this here is 99% effective for tapeworms. And your tapeworms is the hardest on the fowl. They take the most blood and the most nutrients out of your fowl as a tapeworm. And if your wormer doesn't have praziquantel in it, you're not getting all the worms, and your fowl are not as strong as they can possibly be. One thing I noticed with a regular rotating worm program, my disease is non-existent anymore. My disease left me. So if you're having disease all the time and you're grabbing this powder and this pill and that shot, you need to get on better. You need to check your worming program out because it's not sufficient. It's not getting the job done.
It's not getting the job done. So that goes back to, like you said, it with a solid worming program, it can do wonders for your fowl without having to add a little of this, a little of that, a little of this, a little of that. If you keep that inside free of all those parasites, they can really flourish and gain all the benefits from the feed and everything.
A common wormer that people use is Safeguard pig wormer or Safeguard horse wormer. It's still effective, but you have to use it at least 3 or 4 days to kill the tapeworms. It'll kill your roundworms out with 1 dose, but it takes 3 or 4 days to get the tapes, and that's what I'm after is the tapeworms. It's becoming a thing of the past. I used to use it. I used to like it. I used to tell people about it, but I don't recommend it anymore. When you give them a tablet, you know they got it. You don't have to guess whether they're getting it and eating it out of their feed. You see it go down their throat, and one, and it's done.
Right, one is just done. So, Rick, can you give those to chicks, or what's the age limit on those?
On a button stag, I give a half a dose.
Okay.
And also, this is the old wormall on the American formula.
Okay.
A game foul man here helped this company Battlecock over there get the patent off of the Salisbury formula here in the United States. Okay. A lot of people don't know this, and I didn't know it myself till I started selling this product. This is a wormer and a coccimed all in one. One of the ingredients in this, I believe it's the dibuterol, is a coccimed also. So this is a favorite of a lot of people, is the old wormall. And the old wormall. Why it's effective is it's getting the worm and the coccidia too. You know, that's another.
But is it getting all the worms? Is it getting the tape?
It does good on tapeworm, but not as
good as the other.
As a praziquantel. I like to use this before and after the molt, because this blows them out real good, kind of like a colon cleanse, you know. It blows them out real good, gets them ready for the molt. I like to do this before and after the molt. And the other one, like Vermex 4, is an easier wormer. I condition with it. Right. But this is a favorite of mine before and after the molt.
Right. So tell me something, Rick. Like back in the day, or in other countries, do they worm during the keep, or is that something? What do you recommend on that?
With the Vermex 4, if you just do a 2-week keep, you can worm them 14 days out, and you're good. It's not going to affect them. It's a no fasting wormer.
A no fast, so they can eat and everything. Okay, because I know a guy had reached out to me. He asked me, said, "What kind of, I'm feeding them. I mean, I'm worming them. I want to know if I can feed them." I said, "That all depends on a wormer, correct? Because all of them are not the same."
Wormall and hammer, you have to fast the day before.
Okay.
Astig, Vermex 4, and a couple of other wormers, you don't have to fast.
Okay. Well, Rick, this has been some excellent information. You have a lot of questions in the comment section, but just so we can just say this on video now, y'all guys can. His name is inside the post in the in the post. Y'all guys can reach out to him. Rick's like to do a lot of his contact information through Messenger. It's a lot more easier, convenient, and stuff like that. So if you need to reach out to him, you can do that. And Rick, what you got there?
I just want to go over this one more thing. I apologize.
Okay, no problem.
On adult fowl, for the greens, some stags have thin breast, which is bacterial eniuritis, which is a gut infection. White droppings, salmonellosis, which is yellow droppings, is gut infections. Everybody that has game chickens should have a box of this and hope they never have to use it.
Okay.
But on respiratory infections, I ship priority mail, and you'll get it within 2 to 3 to 4 days, just depending on where you're at geographically.
Okay.
But if you get the greens, he's dead before I can get this to you. And it's always going to be your brood cock or your golden hen or your stag you just paid $500 for.
Right.
And there's other home remedies like dye-stewed tomatoes and things like this. But the NF1 is the single most product that I would have to have chickens, is this right here.
Right.
It's the best for gut infections. You give them one a day for 3 days on the greens, and you're good. And any gut, this even helps with crop bound also. It helps anything with the digestive system. I have cured crop bound chickens with the NF1. You have to give some water behind it, but it, you know, it absorbs through the blood vessels, but and their guts too. But I've done good with crawlbound. Greens is your main gut infection killer of chickens. And
wow.
If you don't take this advice and at least have a couple of good wormers and this NF1, I don't even understand why you have chickens, because this right here is probably the first product I have before any of the rest of the ones I showed tonight. NF1, green label, and Coxy Buster. Chicks, adults, and stags and all. That's probably the 3 best products that there is.
They must have. Those are things that you don't want to be ordering when you need them. You want to already have them on hand.
That's correct.
Right, because like you say, you can't get that stuff to him fast enough in order for him to deal with those greens.
If you have the greens and F1, I can't ship it to you quick enough to dead before you get your package. Coccidiosis in chicks, they're dead before you get your package. You need Coxy Buster. Green label, if he's hurt or got an infection or something, he's dead before I can get it to you. So, you know, you need to have some good prevention and by worming, and you need to have a couple of basic items for general care.
For your program, basically.
Yes.
Right. Well, listen, Rick, you have a ton of comments. I know it's late, but if you can get a chance and maybe come in and get in the comment box and maybe answer or reach out to somebody, because, you know, they have a lot of questions, but you went over, it seems like a lot of questions that they have you already answered. I think some of them came in a little late in the interview. So, you know, once they watch the interview again, they'll see that some of those questions that they're asking has already been answered. Also, too, guys, y'all guys, I don't know what Rick's friends list look like. I don't know if he can accept, you know, additional friends, but you can definitely reach out to him on Messenger. Obviously, y'all guys from watching this interview know the man has a ton of knowledge on all the products and what products, the correct products you need for the symptoms that you have, not just a generalized product. And it's amazing how he not only explained or debunked why the older meds are not as effective as they are today. He explained exactly why they're not effective and why the replacement products that they have out on the market, why they're so much better. So things are changing, times are changing, you know, diseases and strains and bacteria get resistant. The same thing we're dealing with humans, you know, with antibiotics now, because they overuse antibiotics. So, you know, we get resistant to that. So they got to come up with different stuff. The same thing that's happening with the game fowl. So guys, please don't hesitate to reach out to him. Give him some time over the next day or so to get to some of the questions in the comments. Obviously, you know how to get in touch with him. He likes to deal with Messenger because he's shipping stuff all over the world, not just in the States, but all over the world, Philippines, Guam, Vietnamese, you know, all these different places. It's kind of hard, you know, with the different time changes and stuff for, you know, him to be able to talk on the phone. So Messenger is a way that y'all guys can get in touch with him. And Rick, I want to say, I greatly appreciate you coming on today. You dropped a lot of knowledge. This video will be up. I'm pretty sure guys will be coming back and then back again to just, you know, look at it over again. And I'm pretty sure you'll have a lot of questions. And a lot of guys have already been asking, where can they get the stuff from? Well, y'all guys know the man who's in the interview is a person that you can get all the stuff that he talks about. He explained to you in detail what it's made for, where it comes from, the quality control of it, and for what symptoms. So y'all guys can reach out to him with any question that y'all guys might have. And like I said, give him a day or two to get in the comments and answer a lot of those questions. But please watch the interview over again if you haven't watched it from the beginning, because like I say, he gave a lot of in-depth information on all of those products, and you're probably going to find an answer to your question without even contacting him. So again, Rick, I appreciate it. Next time this is only part 1. Rick agreed to come on again because, like I said, it's a lot of information. The more people that learns about this Journey to the Pit video series that we're doing, the more people we're going to have, you know, coming on. So a lot of information he talked about today, you know, guys, you know, that's coming on, the next time he come on, is not going to be able to see this interview. So, again, I will also, just to let y'all know why everybody's watching, my friends list is filled. So if y'all guys can just follow me and also go over and follow Journey to the Pit fan page. I'll be posting all the interviews on there. This way you don't have to worry about just following me. All the interviews will also be posted after we do them on the Journey to the Pit fan page. I'll be putting updates and that type of stuff on there. So again, my friends list is full, but you still can follow me. And then also going over to Journey to the Pit fan page. Like the page. We'll have updates on there and that type of stuff. And that's pretty much it. So Monday, hopefully Monday, we'll be coming out with our next guest for Friday. Please, in the comments, take some time to thank Rick Hurst for coming on, giving us a lot of free information. I'm pretty sure we all learned something from this interview. So like I said, just some common courtesy. Give him a thanks in the comment section when we close this thing out. Rick, like I said, I want to thank you again. I'll be talking to you very soon. And everybody stay focused, stay positive, and stay blessed. And y'all have a good night. And Rick, have a good night, brother. I'll be talking to you soon.
Yes, sir. Keep them flying. Keep them flying.
All right, brother. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yes, sir.
All right. Bye-bye.